Thank you. Grazie. Well, welcome to Vallelunga. Welcome to the brand new Panigale V4S. As you can see from the sign, this is a wet practice. Thank you for the reminder. Oh, what today could have been amazing, but I'll get to that later on. So, I'm just going to give you a bit of a guide to riding in the wet. A friend once told me, he said it's like riding in the dry, you just got to go a bit slower. Brilliant. That's deep, that's deep. I'm not going to make that. Shit. Oh, the biggest advice I can give you is using lower gears. You don't want to be low in the torque curve because that's when the engine spins up. Oh shit, that's wet. Yeah, you don't want to be low in the torque curve. That's when the engine spins up. You got more revs for the engine to spin up. Right, so we're in wet mode. It's okay, guys. You can run wet mode. We've got traction control 7, which interestingly is actually made for this wet tyre. So it's calibrated for this wet tyre. So sure, you can run less, but it won't work as well. And the biggest thing is just to be smooth. Apart from keeping the engine revs as high as you can, just to be smooth, especially in conditions like this when you've got standing water. Run the curb, TC catches it, and obviously you can't apply as much brake pressure. That's the big thing. And I don't trust ABS yet, and as good as this system is, I don't trust it. And now more than ever, you need to get the bike up on the fat part of the tyre, so when the bike, if the bike does slide, then it doesn't just vanish beneath you in like a low side where the rear just steps out. First gear definitely up through here. And obviously the shorter gear you use, the easier the bike is to turn. Well, I'm not that animated. I'm not that animated, but in the wet, you really have to do. Obviously, you have to be smoother, but you have to be a bit more animated. Can't even say the word. And another top tip for you: you really got to be aware of the different patches of tarmac. So for instance, here is a really slippery bit just here. You can't avoid it, you've just got to be a bit more careful. And here, there. You know, in fact the whole of the track, you've just got to be a bit more aware of the surface beneath you. Obviously I'm just wobbling around here, but I am using the traction to lean against a lot. It doesn't sort of kill the bike, doesn't sort of stop it dead. It just gives you that sort of safety net. Ooh, that's deep. That's very deep. It just gives you that safety net. It tells you the throttle goes a bit dull, the engine goes a bit dull. Whoa. So now I'm going to look at the data, look at the spins. What I want to do the next time is go out without any rider aids at all. And people already laugh at me saying I'm stupid. It's not going to be unrideable. It's not going to be horrendous. I'm just going to, I think, well, I'm guessing. In fact, I know for certain I'm going to be a bit slower. I mean, this is normally in wet mode you have low power, but because it's quite a high grip track and I'm not a complete Rodney, they put it in medium. I don't think I want to try it in high. Thank you very much. Grazie.
So, in summary, before you laugh at me wobbling around the track in the wet on a 30k superbike without traction control, here are some top tips for riding in the wet that I've garnered over the years. Some are obvious, some not so. Be smooth, and this applies to everything you do on the bike. Don't load either end like you do in the dry. Think of it like a delicately balanced seesaw. Avoid grabbing a handful of front brake and be progressive during initial application. And obviously be smooth with the throttle. High sides in the wet tend to hurt less, but still hurt, and not even the best TC will save you. If you haven't got a blipper, take your time with downshifts and go steady during clutch release. Lean angle is your enemy, so adjust your lines to suit and spend as little time as possible at bigger lean angles. Almost V the corners. Avoid white lines, curbs, unless you know for a fact they're grippy, and be cautious over changes in tarmac. And as I mentioned, use shorter gears to avoid the meat of the torque and engine spinning viciously. The higher the RPM, the less room the engine has to spin. It also improves handling.
Making me feel slightly nervous because I'm going out with no TC, so yeah, they warned me against it, but I'm just going to do it for scientific reasons. You just can't feel that safety blanket, that little bit of throttle. That the TC gives you, but I'm not trying to be Billy Big Box here, I'm just doing it for a test. I mean, I can tell you now I'm going to be 5 seconds slower and I'm not afraid to admit it. Gently does it. Not going to use the curve this time. Oh, fuck it. That's the worst bit. So slow through there. But I know I could go faster, but my brain's just saying, just don't be silly. There's 200 odd horsepower here. That is not that is not fun. Well, it is fun in a kind of sadistic sense. I mean, the standing water is kind of quite bad now. Oh dear. Maybe I should call it a day. Play it safe. Live to fight another day. Glad to meet you.
Welcome.
Thank you, boys. Thank you so much. Thank you. No, but I just didn't have the balls, because you know when you lean on TC and you can feel it working, I just didn't do it then. I had one little whoop on the first lap, and that was like, I know that it's not going to save me.
So the beauty of all of this is that the data doesn't lie. They've got data logging on the bikes. It is actually standard on the V4S, but you don't get the data logging module, which you can then download to the computer. So you've got kind of basic information you can see on the dash, like kind of lean angle or lap times, etc., even sectors. But then you only once you download it onto the laptop can you see all the sort of graphs and stuff. And yeah, like I said, data doesn't lie. So we're going to go and have a look. So here is the magic box. This is the key to everything. This gives you, I mean, it's great if you're fast. If you're not so fast, don't look at it. But yeah, that connects to the computer via Wi-Fi. And yeah. And here we have a Chad, deep at work.
As a professional.
So the two laps, the TC lap and the versus the no TC lap. Obviously I went faster when the track was drier this morning. However, to keep it fair, the lap times were taken from back-to-back sessions, one with TC and one without. So a 205 with TC, with the electronics, leaning on the rider aids. For those of you who say you don't like electronics, try riding one of these in the wet without TC and come back to me and tell me that you don't like electronics. Without TC, I did a 209, so roughly 4 seconds a lap slower, and most of that was all up there. I didn't have too many moments, it was all quite in line, but the track got worse and worse, and actually the track was a little bit worse from the previous session with TC. So some key stats here. 11.3 seconds was the time I'd spent off the throttle or off the brake. So they call it a neutral roll essentially. And you should always be as much as you can on the brakes or on the throttle. With the TC on my faster lap, it was 9.2, so roughly 2 seconds. However, I was slightly disappointed because our friend, the Ducati test rider, Alessandro Valia, even in these conditions like this, he spends 2 seconds off the throttle or off the gas. So the rest of the time he's a bit of gas, a bit of brake. I mean, we're talking like, the minute, finite amounts, but it makes a big difference at the time. So,
right, time to geek out for a second. The Ducati course engineers at the test gave us some juicy data to back up my shocking performance without TC by comparing fastest laps with TC. Just for reference, the blue line is with TC, red without. With TC on, I was considerably quicker through the fastest part of the circuit in turns 1, 2 and 3, and was able to reach 100% throttle in certain parts. No such joy without TC. It was a similar story on the exit of turn 5, which leads onto the back straight and is crucial for a good lap time. With TC on, I was 100% throttle and the bike reduced torque by about 20%, whereas without TC, I didn't even reach 100% gas. Just as a little visual reference, during the exit of turn 8, you can see the TC working overtime on the curve. And onto the slowest part of the circuit, turns 11 to 14, you can palpably see the confidence on the throttle with TC. I lost 2 seconds without TC just in this sector. Likewise, the exit of the last turn, Roma, you can see the red line is quicker to reach maximum throttle. As I mentioned previously, most of the slower lap time was down to confidence rather than out of the seat moments, and having spent most of the day relying on the rider aids to tidy things up. But the new Panigale is a bit of a weapon, and not having that safety net was visibly detrimental to the lap time.
thanks for watching, see you next time, ciao.